So Vinod, a lot of the times, like we said, ERPs, you look at it as a marriage, and it should last you anywhere from 10 to 15 years. But we've also talked about upgrades and being supported in that way. Can you elaborate for us on that?
Yeah. All right. See, this is also an important thing all the business needs to keep in mind. That is, when you're talking about an upgrade, there is two sides to it. Number one is, you don't want to be in an outdated, unsupported version of your business software, right? You always want to be up to date. You always need support, right? So you need to upgrade your system. There is no doubt about that. The frequencies upgrade is the only thing, because the other side of it is the cost associated with your upgrades. Odoo as a system is actually coming with a new version every year. Every single year, around that October-November period, they actually comes with a new updated version. So if you are actually having a big complicated ERP implementation in place and you want to do every version upgrade, that probably is not going to be practical. That means as a part of upgradation, you need to upgrade all your modules, you need to upgrade all your data, and then probably in cases you may have to do some retraining. It often happens because Odoo keeps the same UI with minor improvements. But an upgradation is a big thing when it comes to a business. So I would say you don't have to do an upgrade every year, but look at the Odoo's policy of supported version. They can actually support 3 previous version. So you have that 3-year window, and within that 3-year window you should definitely plan your upgrade. And there is another thing to keep in mind, that is, I said 3 years, right? But let's say you have something, a particular business functionality in Odoo, in your business, and it wasn't in Odoo. Like in the current version, you don't have it. So you were thinking of building that thing into Odoo, and in the next version, let's say you see that feature offered by Odoo, and that feature is going to give you a lot of value, like productivity increase and all that. If it is doing that, I would say you jump on it rather than waiting for 3 years, because your ROI is actually coming with that functionality because you wanted it, and Odoo is now supporting it out of the box. So go for that version upgrades. But again, analyze what is in the new version. If it is giving you anything which is beneficial for your business, don't wait for those 2-year, 3-year period. Go for it. If not, consider that 3-year window period. Within that 3-year window period, you have to plan for an upgrade, right? And there is one more point which we need to discuss when we are discussing about the upgrade, not just the frequency part of it, which is like how to make your upgrades simple. The upgrades are always going to be simple if you have minimal customization. The more the customization, the more time it takes for your upgrades.
What's the average time? Like, what's a range of time that you've seen with upgrades?
We actually have done upgrades which in couple of weeks, and then we did large upgrades which took more than 6 months.
What kind of factors into the length of time for like a large upgrade? What does that mean, and why does it take that long?
Okay, so there's 2 sides to it. When you are doing your upgrade, you can divide that thing into 1, data, 2nd, functionalities. Data is your database part of it. Migrating the data comes free of cost with your license which you are paying to do. But modules, that is something which you have to do outside your license cost and all that. So talk with your partner, get that modules migrated. So in each versions, Odoo might be bringing some differences, right, in the functionalities or in the underlying technology and all that. So based off that, the duration could actually vary. Based off what change Odoo is bringing in, that duration could vary. Also, the database part, which I said is free of cost, there is a time frame for that data migration. Again, as I said, Odoo comes with a version upgrade every October, November period, typically November. And then they open the window for uploading your DB for migration during Jan, Feb period. And there's going to be a long queue during those Feb, March, April period, because most people will be trying to upgrade into the new version. So it typically takes more time if you are trying to do an upgrade during that period, which means your database may come back in 2 months. We have experienced something where it took 8 months. So that is one time factor associated with your data migration. The other part is the functionality. I'll give you a perfect example which took us more time to upgrade is when Odoo migrated to version 13, if I remember correctly. They actually changed the underlying tables used for account invoicing, which means everything which was connected to the account invoicing we had to redo because of that database structural change. So if a major change is coming in any of those versions, you have to plan more time to migrate those new modules. Okay, so when you are actually planning your duration, your ideal approach will be like this. You upload the DB first, make sure you're getting that DB, and once you get the DB, you start that functionality migration part if you have time. Otherwise, do it parallel, but then there is always going to be that uncertainty, like when I'm going to get the database back, and if there is functionality which needs that database to be back, then you can't actually complete that functionality migration. So you plan it, you try to align this data and functionality migration, and then there is also things which non-technical factors to it, like your busy season. You don't want to upgrade your ERP during your busy season, right? So make sure you're moving into the new system in your not so busy period, so you can again do a UAT. You can make sure everything is working fine, work with your partner to streamline all those issues. There may be issues in that database which got migrated, there may be issues in the functionalities and all that. So give it some time. It's not like you are upgrading your iPhone or your Android phone.
Oh, I can't just turn it in and say,
it's not
here's
like
12, can I have 15 now?
Yeah, it doesn't work that
Okay.
way. It's your ERP system. So every version upgrade, you need to put some time to do the UAT. Make sure everything is working in the new version as well before you're rolling it out to your production environment.
Is it true that you have to go, you can't go from 12 to 17 is where we're headed, where we're at now, and in October it'll be 18.
Okay.
How does it, you can't just go from one to the next. That's why you say they only support for up to 3 years?
Yeah, so see, technically speaking, you can upgrade from any version to any version.
Okay.
If it is going upwards. Like you can upgrade from 12 to 16 if you want to. The point is your ERP supported or not? If your ERP is outside a support period, that means at some point they're going to stop taking that database, right? So if you're on 12 and Odoo is already in, let's say, 18 and 12 is no more supported, at some point they're going to say, no, we can't actually do the 12 to 16.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So currently there is no restriction as such, but again, keep up to date is a key. And an interesting part to know is when Odoo is doing their version upgrades, like their DB upgrades, they have a script which is actually running behind the scene, which is actually taking this DB into the new version. When they are actually performing that script, it's not like your 12th version is directly taken into 16. When they are doing it, they will actually convert the 12 to 13, 13 to 14, 14 to 15, then to 16. So your database is actually going through all those versions even though you're not using it. It has its plus because it actually goes through those multiple checkpoints rather than you going from 12 to directly 16. But your functionality, you can't actually do it because then it's going to be more costly and all that. So functionality wise, if you're going from 12 to 16, you directly convert that 12 to 16 even though your database is going through all those different checkpoints.
Thanks for joining today. Next week, we'll be discussing the different Odoo hosting options. Be sure to join.